Mm, 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 mm. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm LaDonna Raeh on the LaDonna Raeh Show. Good morning. Wait, oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I know it's early in the AM and most of you are getting ready for work or getting ready to twerk, whatever it is you're doing. I just want to invite you or welcome you to the LaDonna Raeh Show, where we interview those content creators from all over the world, including business owners and people that want to pour into you. Yeah. So there are some situations where I know you hear that Chicago's always having some type of gun violence, but that's happening everywhere, especially in this climate. Politics, whatever happens, happens, right? But you can protect yourself, especially in a gunfight. And today's special guest, I want you to say, hello, welcome to the show, to gunfight. I call him gunfight instructor, Brenton Payne. And now I'm going to show you the interview. That's right. Woo! So stay tuned. You're going to watch the interview. I actually sat down with Brenton Payne after taking his class. I went ahead and took his course about 2 weeks ago on a weekend, I should say. And it was amazing. Some things I never thought about. Now I'm thinking about. There are some responsibilities that you have to have when it comes to holding a gun, or should I say, concealed and carry in Illinois and all other states. And he goes over all of these laws and rules. Yes, rules of engagement, how to survive, and how to make it home each and every night. All right, on the LaDonna Raeh Show.
How's it going?
It's going well now. I feel equipped. But here's the thing. I was telling people I was going to take this course.
Right.
And all they had to say to me was, well, how much is it? And when I told them how much, they were like, look, I know where you could get it cheaper. We're going to tell you why that's not a good idea. All right, so first of all, I'm a single mom, and initially I was against guns altogether. I have boys. I don't want them accidentally killing themselves, shooting someone else, or injuring themselves. But in this climate that we're in right now, especially now, there have been more gun sales than ever. Most recently during this pandemic. That's not why I'm jumping on the bandwagon. It's just that I realized something. I have to protect my family.
Definitely.
And things have changed, especially since taking your course. This is something that I would rather have and not need than need and not have. So when I signed up for your course, it was basically to be in a position of protecting my family. However, it's also to teach the responsibility to my own children. That's so important. I find that other people take their children to the ranges at young ages. But I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you a psychologist?
Yeah, so I do have a PhD in psychology. Our focus is cognitive neuroscience, the study of human behavior. And I think that that is one of the things that I bring that's different as a firearm instructor to a concealed carry course, because I focus with my students not just on the legal liabilities and aspects, not just the safety, but what happens to your physiology when you get scared and when you get nervous, because all the things that they're telling you to do with the, I hate to say, because it goes against the grain, with the NRA instructors is it requires you to be calm in order to do it. When you get into a self-defense situation, whether it's with a firearm or not, you're not going to be calm. So medically, you can't do these things. And so I think that the spin that I put on the course is what's needed out here on a larger scale.
And that's why I asked, are you a psychologist? Because me mentioning my children getting into understanding how guns work and the safety of it, you made mention during the course that if a child is exposed to something like a gun, a firearm, that at least they know how to take it apart, unload it, if someone should show it to them. You know what I'm saying? Am I right in saying so?
Well, it's a lot deeper than that, but I believe that children should be exposed to firearms at an early age, just so that they have the experience. The experience is controlled by the parent. Here's the difference. I reached adulthood before the invention of the internet. I don't want to date myself, but
you already did.
Yeah, I think so. But what that means is that when I was younger and I'm in the bedroom with my door closed, my parents weren't worried about what content I was getting because 257 911, we didn't even have a remote. It was the click click click, type thing. But
did you put the matchbook behind the?
We did. But in this day and age, once you give your child a smart device, they have access to the world. And with TikTok and Instagram and all the other, things that the younger people are on, they're very impressionable. The cartoons that they watch have guns in them. The video games they play have guns in them. And they hit a reset button and the character comes back. So they don't understand that it's final. So we do talk a lot about how to educate your children responsibly with firearms.
And I can appreciate that. And I know my listeners and viewers can appreciate that because there's a lot of parents out there that are apprehensive in this whole scheme of things. But what made you put together a different course altogether without just sticking with the minimum requirements?
I think for me, it's personal. Number one, I've been in 7 gunfights in my life. I've been shot 11 times. Career related and 1 off-duty situation. I know what happens in a gunfight. And so I wanted to put together a course that really focuses on what it's actually going to be like. I'm sure a lot of your listeners have gone to college, gotten a degree, graduated, and gotten a job in their field. And it's nothing like what they learned in school. This is the wrong type of course to be that way. And I think having had those experiences, I'm very well equipped to teach my students what they need to know.
And speaking of teaching your students what they need to know, also knowing what to say in case you are pulled over. You brought up Philando Castile from Minnesota when in his situation, how he may have survived had he known exactly what to say. That scenario is pretty much giving me a whole nother way of looking at the responsibility behind having a firearm, whether it's concealed and carry or not, just all around. But you have a simulator that it's gotta be like state of the art because I felt like I was really there. I had three scenarios total, but out of 2 of the scenarios, I did light it up. Yeah. You know what light it up means. But in the 3rd scenario, I was able to assess quickly because you don't have a lot of time, and decide to walk away. This can really happen in real life.
Definitely. We did just bring in a state-of-the-art simulator, which is not generally accessible to civilians and the public. Most major law enforcement agencies have them, and even the police officers that work within those agencies only see them during their, academy period, right? I think that making it accessible to civilians, and we took that investment to be able to do that so that we can teach them about de-escalation. We can teach them about conflict resolution instead of, we hear all the time, if you have a gun, if you pull a gun, you better use it. That is
I was talking the whole time and no one could hear me. Yeah, I just noticed that. All right. Let me tell you what I was saying. I was saying in the simulator, my heart was racing. It was going really, really fast. Okay. But because I had the training before the simulator. And now I'm thinking differently. I'm soft wired. Now I'm hardwired because I've kind of been in that situation. And there was a situation in the third scenario where a guy and a girl were fighting, a man and a woman were fighting, right? They were arguing. He was verbally abusing her and getting in her face, like, hey, and I had my gun drawn. And if you heard, as you've heard, if you pull your gun out, you better use it. But Brenton said that was bad information, bad advice, which I had to really think about it. I had the gun out, but I said to the guy, he walked up, "What? You want some of this?" He came up to me and I was like, "Nah, man, that's your fight." And I walked away because he was not a life endangered threat for me. Okay, so those are the scenarios that Brenton is talking about. You don't always have to go for your gun. You can actually make a decision to walk away. The best gunfight, he said, the best gunfight to win is the one you don't have to get in at all. I may have messed that up, but that is ultimately what he was saying. All right. So we're going to move back into this. I was going to show you a picture, but it started making my computer skip. Maybe time for a new Mac. All I need is an excuse. All right, here we go. Back to Brenton and personal protection. And again, I'm LaDonna Raeh on the LaDonna Raeh Show.
That anyone could give, because your life is going to be turned upside down for the foreseeable future. Now, don't get me wrong, if it's going to be me or you, it ain't going to be me. But being able to have those other tools in your belt, de-escalation, verbal judo, so a lot of the things that we talked about, I think that it's going to be invaluable if you're going to carry a firearm responsibly.
Responsibly is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people have a false sense of security
Mm-hmm.
by having a firearm on their hip or in their purse or in their glove compartment. They react a certain way, but if they have the proper training, like I felt here today that we had the proper training, and now my mind is totally different. Because in that scenario, those three scenarios, I think I would have just shot everybody, right? But because of the thinking process that you've now bestowed upon us, I feel that now it's a situation where it takes me back to when I was beat up by a young man in third grade. I ain't gonna say his name, but he punched me in my eye, and I had no idea. I was slap fighting then. Notice I said then, don't mess with me. But my mom called up a friend and was like, "Look, we're not coming home crying." And he taught me how to fight, like fight lethal. Well, I said lethal, but he taught me how to fight like a man, and I felt more equipped. I felt more ready, and I was more apprehensive to use my weapon. And the same thing goes here.
Mm-hmm.
If I have conceal and carry, I've been properly trained in your course, and now I feel like I would pause more. You don't become trigger happy because you're concealed carry. The ones that are trigger happy, according to studies, are the ones that are not concealed carry. Those are the people that have guns and they run to the trunk and go grab them over petty disputes. But I wanted to actually talk about your coaching style.
Okay.
So, first of all, I thought it was gonna be boring. I brought my apple cider vinegar gummies. Thanks, Golo or Goli.
Thanks a lot.
But no, I just didn't know. I'm like, okay, we're gonna learn all this tactical, practical. But I was like super engaged. You kept your class engaging and thought-provoking. And I want to absolutely let everyone know that it's serious, yes, but it's infused with real-life scenarios, and it's a 360-degree way of thinking, which is necessary, especially when you have something so important in your possession. Also, once you cross over, I can say this, I feel like once you cross over, once you eat the meat, okay, once you cross over and pull the trigger, now you have a high level of responsibility. And that's really what you instilled in us in our class.
Well, what it is, it's the garbage in, garbage out scenario. And I'm speaking specifically about instructors. There are a lot of instructors out there that are putting out information that, quite frankly, will get someone hurt or worse. And if you, as the instructor, give your students bad information and they need it, it's probably going to be the last time for your student. They're the ones that pay the price. And so I take what I teach very seriously. I think you remember in the very beginning of the course, the first thing that I do is show my students my credentials and tell them where they can go verify them. There are a lot of people walking around here with credentials that might not be the proper tools to learn a defensive situation, and that's super important.
And scary. It's not right, okay?
Yeah.
But I have a question. What if someone already, because I was actually ready to, we were gonna make this a field trip. Okay, I called up everybody. But what if someone already has their concealed carry license? Do you have other courses?
Yeah, personal protection training group, we do all things self-defense. But for those that have their concealed carry license already and they're looking to get more training, we have our defensive pistol series. So it's defensive pistol 1, defensive pistol 2, and defensive pistol 3. Just to kind of give you a brief, what they're about. Defensive pistol 1 is what would happen after you've purchased your own firearm. You have your own holster system. We want to train you the way that you carry. Someone might carry on their hip as I do. Someone might carry in their purse if they're a lady, or
I don't have a purse. You pointed to me just because.
Well, I certainly don't. But we want to train the student the way that they carry. And level 1 focuses on the basics of firearm defense. So, drawn from concealment, different shooting grips, different shooting positions. We obviously focus heavily on verbal judo. That's the way to win a gunfight, is to never get into it at all. And if you can back your attacker down using logic, reason, or intimidation, you've won that fight and you never had to fire a shot. Your life's going to be all the better for it. So our level 2 course is a little bit different. That's where we take what we taught you in level 1 and we show you how it works in the real world. The difference between going to a gun range and being in a gunfight is night and day. When you're at the gun range, you're calm, you're relaxed. You know that no matter how many bullets you send that way, there's nothing coming back this way. And because of that, your target isn't a threat to you. You're not focused on it, right? But here's where we get into the psychology and the physiology of it all. When you get attacked, things start to change with your physiology. You lose the ability to regulate your temperature. You ever heard someone say, oh, she was heated? Yeah, you physically get hot. You lose the ability to regulate your breathing. That's why you can't catch your breath. Your heart's pounding, your hands are shaking, your vision's blurry. All of these things start to happen. So ask yourself, what sense does it make to use a curriculum that requires you to be calm to train you for a situation where you're not going to be calm? That's why I don't understand why people are using, I'm not going to say the name of the organization, but that curriculum to teach concealed carry. The only way to prepare you for a situation where you're not going to be calm is to put you in it. And that's what our level 2 course does, is we put you in a gunfight. Now, to my knowledge, there are only a few companies in the US that do force-on-force training for civilians. We use real guns, real bullets, but it's something called non-lethal training ammunition. It's usually only available to law enforcement and military trainers. And what we do is we throw you into a situation where you don't know what's going to happen. We're not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to go down. And because of that, your adrenaline is flowing through your system. And after the scenario is all over and done with, we focus on 1 or 2 things that you could have done to increase your chances of survivability, and then we'll train you on that. And then we'll run you back through a similar but different scenario. Now, why do we do that? We do that to hardwire you. What I just did to you without you knowing is called soft wiring. As I was describing the program, you're already formulating a mental picture, what that might look like. Hardwiring is when we run you through the physical activity. And that's because every brand new thing that you ever will experience in your life or ever have experienced in your life, your only response is going to be to freeze because your brain has no point of reference. So we want to train people and just give them a basis of, here's what's going to happen in the real world, and I don't want to get too deep into my curriculum because as you've been through it, it can get pretty deep. But, at a high level, that's what we do.
You said we have no point of reference, but I saw Kill Bill. That's not a point of reference. I'm just saying. I feel like,
So there's a lot of stuff that happens in the movies and on TVs that isn't, doesn't work that way in the real world.
I can imagine. Wow. So how do we, I don't know, where do we go from here? It's like now that I've taken my concealed carry, I'm waiting for my license to come through. Where do I go from here?
Well, obviously you want to go and continue to get training, not just from us. I would love for you to come back to Personal Protection Training Group forever, but you should go get well-rounded instruction. Different instructors have different backgrounds, different life experiences, different ways of teaching. I've been shooting for over 30 years. I've been a firearms instructor for 23 years. I didn't become the shooter that I am today, only ever having one instructor. However, when you're choosing your instructor, here are some things that you want to look for. Number one, you have to see that instructor's credentials. Those credentials need to come from a nationally or internationally recognized law enforcement organization, college, training school, academy, what have you. You want to copy down all the information that you see on those credentials so that you can call or go to the website and verify that they are an instructor that's in good standing with their training up to date. Just because you become an instructor once, you never go back and recertify. That's a problem, because they need to make sure that these instructors are continuing to teach the information properly. New information may have surfaced that those instructors need to be briefed on, what have you. These things are important. And these are the things that I don't think that most people stop to think about. The one takeaway that I would give you and maybe your audience is that curriculum that is not geared towards combat survival is not going to help you in an attack. So you need to make sure that the instruction that you're being given is geared towards that.
Yeah, that part. Okay, I'm totally with you on that. So how do people register? I know we want to keep you to ourselves, but we want our listeners and our viewers to absolutely register.
We definitely want to share me with the world.
Especially in Illinois.
Go on Facebook, definitely like our page, Personal Protection Training Group, or you can call me directly on my business line at 773-386-1911.
All right, you heard it here, and you already know that you got to follow, like, subscribe, and share this particular channel, which is the LaDonna Raeh Show on YouTube, and we're on 88.9 FM, we're on Spotify, Anchor, we're our tweet, okay? Well, we definitely need for you to subscribe and make sure that you let them know when you call that number that you heard it right here on our show. Also, we have Toasting While Tipping on Wednesday mornings. That's with myself, LaDonna Raeh, and Boss Lady +2. So we will definitely, I'm going to tell her all about my weekend. Yes, girl. And then don't forget about Sundays. We have the Akai and Ray event that happens on Sundays. And we're not going to talk about the divorce while dating others. That has nothing to do. Well, maybe so, because you may want to shoot your ex-spouse. So, okay, you don't want to shoot your ex-spouse, but you want to shoot them a text message to let them know to register for the concealed carry. All right, I'm LaDonna Raeh, and thank you so much, Brenton Payne.
Thank you.
Oh, you are just awesome and amazing, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm glad you're doing it for the right reason. We love people like this, those content creators from all over the world, and we're right here in Illinois with Brenton Payne. I'm LaDonna Raeh, and the LaDonna Raeh Show, and we're out. See you later. Nothing like good guests on the LaDonna Raeh Show. I hope you learned a lot and you're considering a lot. back in the day, I was totally against guns because I'm like, I'm a mother, single mother. I'm just going to pray my way out of it. But based on the things that I've seen on the news, what's happening in the communities, different places, I want to have just the highest chance of survival and protecting my children. I have no desire to end anyone's life, but I have no desire to get mine ended prematurely by the fate of someone else. So I wanted to definitely look into something a little bit different, just so that I would have something that I need and not have and not need it than to need it and not have it. I always mix that up. But so true. What is the psychology behind concealed carry? When do you pull it out? When do you not even think about it? Keep in mind, there are some signs in different places that are public, like a mall, that says no guns. And you go, oh, shoot. And you want to put your gun in your concealed. Nobody should even know you have it in the trunk or in back in your car, but you really don't have to. Why? Because the law says in Illinois that you cannot carry a gun, or it can't be brought onto private property, okay, according to the owner. However, a mall is a public place, even though it's owned by a private group or individual, whatever that situation may be. But you can still conceal your firearm, okay? But if you're going into a place that serves alcohol, you're the designated driver if you have a concealed weapon. So there's no alcohol. By the way, your alcohol allotment drops when you are concealed carry. So I think it's 0.8 in Illinois. If you are concealed carry and you have a firearm, it goes down to 0.05. So these things are important to know, so that you don't get in trouble. You can't say, well, I didn't know, because the moment you start carrying a firearm, it opens the door for responsibility. And that is up to you to know, okay, things you should know. All right. If you have any questions, let me see if there are any comments this morning. No, people are getting ready for work. There's no comments. Let me see if I can share this picture with you. Probably not. Slides. I didn't make one. Let's see if I can bring this up. Well, I tell you what, I'll just show you the picture on my Facebook. So I'm going to upload this picture to my Facebook, and you'll see my target where I didn't miss a target. I also want to, speaking of target, I want to say rest in peace to our dear friend Cedric, who took the class with me. He sat right behind me. And I was introduced to him by Razzie, my dear friend from high school, Razzie Lewis. And Razzie was supposed to be in that class, but Razzie couldn't make it because he went to a Kendrick Lamar concert and couldn't get up. But Cedric sat behind me. And I never met Cedric before, but Razzie always talked about him. They were really good friends. Unfortunately, Cedric lost his life to a heart attack and died. And I helped him with his concealed carry application because he sat right behind me. Nice guy. I do have video of him in the background, but I have his target because I'm gonna give it to Razzie, and that's the shooting, the thing where you shoot the guy. But I'm gonna give it to Razzie so that he can give it to his family. But rest in peace, Cedric. And I can't remember his last name. It's just really hurting me right now. But Cedric was a really nice guy. He was really into the class. He was enthusiastic, and he asked a lot of good questions, I should say. And he shot his target too. But unfortunately, he passed away due to a heart attack. So my heart goes out to his family, his friends, and anyone who's ever met him, because I met him for all of a week ago, and he already left an impact on me. All right. So I just want to say Tuesdays is not normally my day to air, but it is this week, baby. Wednesdays, tune in to Toasting While Tipping with me, LaDonna Raeh, and Boss Lady Plus Two. We come on at 8:05. All right, tomorrow live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Those subscriptions are going up because I actually go through the drive-throughs, the malls, wherever I go, and I hand out my little business card, actually begging people to subscribe to my channel. You know what I'm saying? So I made these little cards where they can just scan it and subscribe. You should do the same thing. Um, that's on Wednesdays at 8:05 Central Chicago time. And then Thursday, I got Hot Saucing with EDF, where we talk about being black in America, just dumb-ish, right? I think I cuss on that one a little bit. Then on Fridays, oh my goodness, this show is blowing up. Divorced and Dating Others. I actually host that show with my ex-husband, Warren I. He told me, I want to be Warren I. And I was like, you have to see the last episode where I just was ready to clown him. Warren I. Your first name is already hard to say. Warren. Can you imagine when I had to yell at him? Warren! It doesn't sound like Rob. That has more ugh. But now I got to do Warren I. And he's like, next to your eye, Warren 3. Okay. You'll have to see it. He's funny. But you can see that we have a contrast of personalities. But the show is great. We're gonna have guest on this week, which are gonna be ex-married couple that are now co-parenting teenagers. I just can't wait. It's gonna be Art Davis and Gia Davis. They're gonna be on this Friday, and I can't wait. This is gonna be so fun, so funny, and so amazing. Also on Sunday, we got the spectacular Akai and Ray event with my girl Maya Akai. Yes. We will be talking about grown folk stuff. So I don't know if you got virgin ears and stuff like that. You may want to tune in anyway. If you don't have virgin ears, then you may want to take notes. All right. That's it for us right here on the LaDonna Raeh Show. I'm LaDonna Raeh from Chicago. It's going to be nice and warm. I have on absolutely no makeup, okay? Like none. That's how comfortable and warm it's going to be today. Warm and fuzzy day for me. All right. I'm going to get these kids out of here so they can go to school. You do the same. Do not deny your children their education. Make sure they get it in. I've got some tactics that I started using with the boys, actually, thanks to Brenton. Okay. He's got 3 psychology degrees. And I'm like, look, I was ready to beat my kids. He said, no, try this. And it's working. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you guys next show. See you tomorrow morning. Don't forget to tune in. If you get sick of me, just watch anyway and let me know you're sick of me. All right. Be prepared to be sick of me. Yeah. And I got to move this board so that I'm not reaching. It looks like I'm reaching and DJing. Okay. It's got to look seamless. Like I just go beep, beep. Yeah, that didn't happen today either. Maybe if I reach with my pen. Hold on, let me try it. I'm out. Bye-bye for now. Peace.